right, welcome into the show. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr. Hope everybody out there is having a great start to your week and you're coming off an awesome weekend. A lot to get to here on this Monday edition of the show. Robert Saleh and the Niners hire another defensive assistant. We have some rumors about former Niners running back Raheem Mostert coming back. Maybe a reunion with San Francisco. According to a report, the Niners expected to tender all of their exclusive rights free agents, and Maxx Crosby trade rumors pick up steam again. Before we talk and discuss all of that, be sure to hit that subscribe button for the best Niners offseason coverage. And the NFL has really become a year-round sport. The NFL Combine is next week, most likely going to be in Indianapolis. This is a huge draft for this organization and San Francisco, and we have you covered with great, tremendous offseason coverage. So you know what I need you to do? Go on down, hit that subscribe button. Let's start off with some coaching news for the Niners here. According to a report from CBS Sports, the Niners expected to hire Boston College's Ray Brown as cornerbacks coach. He helped Boston College under Bill O'Brien, former assistant coach under Bill Belichick, head coach with the Houston Texans, then helped revitalize that Boston College program last year, and Ray Brown was a part of that. And so Brown helped Boston College post its first 7-win regular season since 2018. He previously worked at Washington State, where he coached Panthers 2024 draft pick Chau Smith-Wade. And so Robert Saleh putting together a pretty good coaching staff here, and Ray Brown is looked at as an up-and-comer. And as we know, during the week of the Super Bowl a couple of Fridays ago, Robert Saleh also hired Gus Bradley. So you have some youth as part of this coaching staff, and you have a long-term veteran defensive coordinator and head coach in Gus Bradley, who's well accomplished and well known across the National Football League as an assistant on this staff as well. That's one of the pluses you get when you hire a coach like Robert Saleh to lead your defense. Not only is he going to help this defense improve from last year, but I think the scheme is going to be better. I think player development is going to be better. I think that he's going to help maximize players. He's going to have a good eye for personnel, but having a good eye for personnel also includes building a really good coaching staff. And so the Niners made Saleh one of the highest paid defensive coordinators in the game. And when you do that, you hand him the keys to run that side of the ball as he sees fit. And that's a plus. He has a good defensive mind, both with personnel and coaches, but it also allows Kyle Shanahan to focus on the offense and overseeing the entire operation. And when I was in New Orleans covering Super Bowl 59, I asked Nick Sirianni about that. And I asked him, you started calling plays as a head coach in 2021. You haven't done that since. Why has that allowed you to become the best coach that you are now? How has it helped you improve and evolve, overseeing the entire operation instead of focusing solely on one thing here, one thing there? And he talked about it at length, how he's able to pop in on different meetings, and he's able to do all of these different things, including game management, which has led to him being the best coach that he can be. And so for Kyle Shanahan, he doesn't have to always oversee special teams, defense. He can focus on offense and oversee the entire operation. And hopefully that puts this team in a better position to be more well-coached in 2025 compared to what we saw in 2024 when they were a mess. And so that's the Niners coaching news. To some potential roster additions, Raheem Mostert, according to his agent, Brett Tessler, announced that his client, Mostert, will be playing elsewhere in 2025. The Dolphins are moving on from Mostert. They are releasing him. This is an opportunity for Miami to get younger at that running back spot. It also gives Mostert, a veteran, a chance to maybe chase a ring somewhere else. Now, Mostert is coming off a career low 3.3 yards per carry, only had 85 carries, dealing with some injuries earlier in the year. Devon Achane turned out to be a really good player year one, year two. He's been really dynamic, extremely fast. But Mostert turns 32 in April. Now, in his defense, he did stay healthy during his previous two seasons with Miami. He had 181 and 209 carries his first 2 years with the Dolphins, over 4.8 yards per carry. He also, in 2023, tied Christian McCaffrey for the most touchdowns for position players in the NFL with 2021. Do the Niners bring him back? Should they bring him back? I wouldn't. Get younger, please. And this is also going to be a loaded running back class. But what's interesting for San Francisco is that Jordan Mason is going to be a restricted free agent. And another team could offer him a lot of money, and the Niners might decide to not match it. So if Mason walks, who I think is a superb starting caliber back and one of the top backup backs in the NFL if he is behind Christian McCaffrey, he gets paid. He could go somewhere else, and then the Niners are looking for a back, and they'll need one because pretty much they'll have McCaffrey, injury-prone, and Isaac Guerendo, injury-prone, as the two backs on the team. Instead of going Mostert, older player who's been banged up a lot throughout his career, I know he's a good scheme fit. I know he's still fast. I know he can still move. I'd rather go younger and draft a running back day 3 who'd be able to play in what is a very deep running back class. Plus, that rookie's not going to cost all that much money. And so I know fans sometimes will get intrigued and they find a reunion to be enticing. This isn't a reunion that I'm down for. Mostert has tread on the tires, older player, and he's coming off a down year. Get younger this season, and that is a huge need for San Francisco. As for the Niners tendering some exclusive rights free agents, that means that all of these players will be back for the 2025 season. That includes defensive lineman Alex Barrett, linebacker Jalen Graham, defensive lineman Sam Okuwanu, who is a defensive tackle, defensive end hybrid, who I find to be pretty intriguing. Stepped up, made some plays last year. Tight end Jake Tonches, defensive tackle Evan Anderson, who ended up being a really good player as an undrafted free agent. Austin Pleasant's offensive lineman, tight end Mason Pline, who's an intriguing player at like 6'5", 250, former basketball player who the Niners hit on the practice squad all year. And then, that's it, Evan Anderson, the other one. Evan Anderson is a player who I think could be a really good rotational defensive tackle for this team moving forward. And so the Niners tendering all of those players, that means that they will be under contract for 2025 and a member of the 90-man roster for this team this offseason. And then we round out with Maxx Crosby here. So the future of Maxx Crosby, very interesting, and one of the key marquee storylines to monitor and watch this offseason because he's one of the top players in the game at one of the most important positions in football at defensive end. If you can get after the quarterback, we saw how the Eagles were able to just pick apart and dominate, just embarrass the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59, not blitzing once, but generating 25 pressures on Patrick Mahomes while sacking him 6 times. And so a player like Maxx Crosby for a Super Bowl contender becomes a very interesting name because he's an elite player who, if you pair him up alongside Nick Bosa, my goodness, that could be scary for opposing teams. And if he's available in a trade, it's a player who the Niners should check in on, just like they should check in to see what the price is on Myles Garrett. Ian Rappaport saying this about Crosby despite the Raiders hiring Pete Carroll. Open about his frustrations with the team's seemingly endless string of changes and mounting losses, Crosby wants to win and be a big reason behind the success. Trading Crosby for a bounty of picks would be one way to expedite the rebuilding process for the Raiders, and Crosby might welcome the change, particularly if it's to a playoff team where he knows people. Well, here's why the Niners continue to be mentioned as a trade destination for Crosby. He knows a lot of people on that team. He's friends with a lot of people on this Niners team. And he said this over the weekend after spending the weekend in the Bay Area. It's where the NBA All-Star Game was. Spent 48 hours in the Bay this weekend. Easily one of the best experiences I've ever had so far as a professional. The amount of love y'all showed for this 4th rounder from Eastern Michigan was humbling. I was just a young kid chasing my dreams and trying to figure it out when I first touched down in California as a rookie, going from Oaktown to Alameda and the city. Being with the people is truly iconic. It means more to me than anything. Impact and inspiring is everything. Spent 1 year in the town, and the rest is history. The town will forever hold a special place in my heart. To everybody I encountered out there, I love y'all. I will be back again soon. Now, obviously, he's talking about Oakland. He's not talking about the San Francisco 49ers, because when he was drafted, the Raiders were still in Oakland. But the Bay Area is the Bay Area, and a lot of Niners players saw that from over the weekend, and they were sharing it, they were commenting on it, they were retweeting it, and Tabor Pepper tweeted out, "I know y'all like that Crosby tweet. You've had Niners players openly recruit Myles Garrett and talk about him. You've had Niners players openly talk about Maxx Crosby, like Deommodore Lenoir trying to court him to San Francisco. And so if Maxx Crosby loves the Bay Area so much, and according to Ian Rappaport, he wants to go somewhere where he can win, where he knows people, where he can be a part of winning, San Francisco 49ers could be that team. You pair Nick Bosa up with Maxx Crosby, you can get pressure with 4, you draft a couple of defensive tackles, you rebuild your defensive line there. Robert Saleh will help improve this defense. I think this offense is bound to improve. Special teams bound to improve. This is a Niners roster with so much talent on it. They've invested a lot into the defensive line, whether it be draft picks or contracts. They value that position. Now it's time for them to value offensive line, especially after seeing Philly's defensive line beat up on Kansas City. Maxx Crosby is a player who I expect the Niners to be interested in, to make calls on, and they should, because that's the type of game-changing player that the Niners really need. So a name to watch this offseason, Maxx Crosby, and him as a trade candidate for San Francisco. Just wanted to hop on this mic here, talk some Niners on this Monday, February 17th. I'll be back in the studio tomorrow. We'll go live on the 49ers Report this week as well, and be on the lookout for some great content.